Hi, it's Kirby Summers. It is Wednesday, March 28th, 2025. This is the second time I am doing this podcast, and the first one was 40 minutes. And because I was sharing information that's, I suppose, stuff that the world is not supposed to know, I was unable to keep it, and I'm hoping that this one goes through. So I'm gonna just do it again because I am stubborn, and that's just the way it is. So, okay, so what I wanted to do was I wanted to share with you a couple of things and sort of tie some loose ends together and bring you up to date regarding a few things. The first thing I want to say is that on my Patreon, someone with really good intentions uh, sent me a message regarding information that was sent to me by Kevin A. Now, Kevin A, I can't even say his full name on this platform, but Kevin A has done a lot of work exposing the evils of the Catholic Church, and he shared a lot of information on Sean's show, and he is scheduled to appear on my show, but there was some stuff and I need to fix it before I can have him on, so I had to cancel the live stream that I think was scheduled for, I believe, sometime last week. So he'll still be on. However, what I want to say is that somebody on my Patreon said, "Oh, this information is false," or something to that effect. But no, what's going on is that all your search engines, your Google, your whatever you're using, they don't give you the search results of things that are heavily, let's say, monitored, because I was going to use the CENSORED word. However, when I did that the first time I tried to do this podcast, the entire podcast disappeared. So I am going to use alternative words. Regrettably, that's what I have to do in order to communicate with you, which is insane, but that's what we have to do. And so that's what we're going to do. And so that when you use, let's say, these search sites to try to find information on people who are heavily watched, let's say, and well, that information is not going to show up. It's just not. So that every document that I upload to, let's say, my Patreon, usually has the source on it. Just go to the source. Kevin has a website, he has all of his information. That said, there's also the problem of, is the website working properly? Because when you have a situation like he does and like I have had and others, the traffic to your website might be redirected elsewhere. So, for example, I shared with some of you, and I forget exactly where, that Leslie Wexner changed the direction of the website that a lieutenant governor, I believe in Michigan, created when she was trying to get people to boycott one of his companies that was selling inappropriate clothing to little children, tiny little children. And what he did was her website ended up being redirected to a PORN site. And she didn't know. She thought, oh, people are seeing my website. But no, they weren't. They were being redirected to a PORN site. Just yesterday, frankly, I tried to go to a certain website and I was given this warning, warning, warning. You cannot, this is a, well, no, that was just trying to keep me from going to that website. And that happens a lot. So that when you are heavily watched, sometimes even when you think you have information and you have it in a certain place, well, that information may or may not be shown to you. It does not mean that it's not true. That said, I want to also say that I don't use AI. I don't use Grok. I mean, it's hard enough for me to try to use a search engine because AI has been created. to give you the answers they want to give you. So for example, I uploaded another article on a famous actor or comedian. I'm not even going to mention his name this time, with additional information. And what I have realized for a long time is that websites like Snopes are created to make you think, oh, well, it stops here. This is the truth. Oh, that's been debunked. That's been debunked. You all know about the Franklin scandal being called a hoax. That at least you're aware of, right? But you're not aware that, let's say, a site like Snopes or other ones like it, because now there are more like it. Because I was trying to find something, I was trying to find a specific photo with a specific person and another person. And then suddenly it was like, oh, they're pushing back really hard. Oh, this was a hoax. This did not really exist. Well, that's called protesting too hard. He doth protest too hard. He or she, whatever. It means that they don't want you to know the truth. And many people, I would say 99.9% of the people who encounter these sites are like, oh, okay, they did the work for me. It can't be true. Well, no, it means that they're protesting too much, and therefore keep looking for the answer. Keep looking for the answer. So the other thing I want to say is that um, I was still shocked when I uploaded the information on Virginia's funeral. And, the whole thing with Virginia is still something I'm trying to wrap my mind around. But I had comments, and I hope I blocked the people who left comments like, uh, uh, good riddance to trash. Somebody had the audacity to leave that. And there were others that were just as bad. And what I want to say is that I do not believe that Virginia knew the size of the Goliath that she was going to be fighting. And I'll tell you why, because I didn't know it either. So, for example, just before I became involved after J.E.'s arrest in July of 2019, so it's going to be 6 years. In a matter of what, 5 weeks, it'll be 6 years that I have been doing this. I was dating someone and I probably would have married him. And then JE was arrested and I sat him down and I said, "Hey, I'm gonna have to teach me how to tweet, teach me how to do these things because I have to go in there and find answers to what I've been looking for because I had been stalked. There had been repeated attempts on my life, as I have mentioned multiple times. A lot of strange things kept happening to me, and I wanted answers. And while I had already had encounters with somebody from, let's say, the three-letter agency that begins with the letter C, okay, and ends with the letter A, and I had already had encounters with the agency that begins with the letter F, and then it has ends with the letter I. I'd already had encounters. I did not realize that, and it didn't sink in when I heard Alexander Acosta say, I was told to back off that he, quote, meaning JE, belonged to Intel. I didn't really fully understand that Virginia and many of the other women were being represented by, fixers and people who were connected to the government and the Intel apparatus, and also, frankly, to JE himself, as I have been exploring in my newsletters on my Substack with receipts. I didn't know the size of the monster, that it wasn't just the people that we see, let's say Ghislaine's siblings, her friends, the people that she sends out to attack people. It wasn't just them, that it would be people within, let's say, our own community that would attack us too, under the guise of helping us. Like I didn't know that was all going to happen. It's been very bizarre. it's been very trying and it has been very taxing. So as an example, I uploaded 60 seconds of an excerpt of a video of somebody who purports to be on our side, basically saying that a request had been made of him to do a hit piece on me. So what I want to say about that is it wasn't just one hit piece. It continued. It continues to present day. I am stalked. I am harassed. And I almost died as a result of it. I almost died as a result of it. It put my life in danger. A lot of things happened. So that Virginia also did not understand the extent of the monsters that we had to face, because it wasn't just the known enemies, it was the unknown enemies as well. That sheep and wolf's clothing thing. So that if I had known how horrendous, because I also came in thinking that law enforcement worked, that the police work, that the court system work, that I believed, oh, well, they're represented, meaning Virginia and the other women, by attorneys. I didn't understand to look into until later to look and see, well, who are these people? I thought I really naively believed what a lot of other people who are normies believe. I clearly know a lot better now, but I thought that the court system, oh, and then when JE expired, in August, so not too long after I started, my thought was, oh, there's not going to be any, let's say, justice served. There is no justice served. The court system is corrupt. I didn't know that at the time. I did not know that at the time. If I had known everything I have since learned, I would have not pursued this at all. It was much easier to be abused because I only had to fight one person. It was much easier to be abused, taken from state to state, held down, repeatedly R-worded, forced to do things I didn't want to do, live a double life, have no family, have no friends. It was easier to do that and deal with the post-traumatic stress disorder that I have had ever since, and deal with the shame and everything that comes with that. It was easier to deal with that than it has been to deal with everything I've had to deal with on a daily basis in my ongoing work that I do day in and day out. So if I were to do it again, and if I knew what I was facing, I would have married that guy and forgotten about this. And yeah, maybe I would have continued to have been stalked and harassed, but I would have been married and whatever. I would have just left it alone, because even that was not as difficult as this, because here you do not see who your enemies are. They're all your enemies. So in the last couple of days, I took some time to look at other researchers or other people doing similar work. And I realized that there are other people doing similar work, and they too, in their field, have opposition agents who are trying to change the narrative of real, already historical things. Um, People who, for whatever reason, I don't know why there's such a strong desire to change history and change the narrative of crimes that have already happened, that people have done good work and really exposed the depravity of a specific crime. And frankly, a lot of these crimes, they overlap, but I've noticed that there's that's happening in other communities as well. It's like, oh, okay, they're supposed to be working on the same side, but apparently they're not, and there's infighting. Well, there's infighting because one person is a liar, is like being paid, is a shill for something, And what are we ever going to really know? No. And then the other person is trying to not just fight that, which is very taxing, but trying to do their own research and share really important, like receipts. Now, the thing I want to say about receipts is I can't answer everybody that asks me a question on this platform because I am being watched by the very people who are on the opposition side, right? However, when I began this journey, I would share receipts, meaning if I read something somewhere, I would share the URL for that, only to find out the next day or two that that was gone. The page would be gone, even from archive. Okay, so that I am not going to share on this platform my receipts. I share my receipts on Substack primarily, and if I upload something to my Patreon, I share. If you ask me, I'll tell you exactly where to find something that I've worked on. Somebody else was asking me, and I was just really surprised. So I shared some information on Vietnam, and I mean, like, I thought we all knew that our country, and I live in the United States, and so, but our countries, plural, but specifically, I'm talking right now about the United States, has been involved in the transportation of, let's say, substance forever. And that, frankly, Vietnam was something that was created out of thin air in order to keep doing this. And that the lives of our soldiers, and we had Memorial Day 2 days ago, and I said nothing because my two brothers were in the military, and and a lot of people who lost a lot of their family members to wars. And I have friends who have died of Agent Orange and all kinds of other things, and I know people who have suffered as a result of what happened in Vietnam. And really, that's not even our recent war. That's a war from the 1960s. But the fact that our country has had no regard for our young people in any way, shape, or form, unless you come from a privileged background, let's say like people who don't have to go to war, don't have to enlist, like Donald Trump, let's say, for example. Oh yeah, his doctor found something on his foot. Now that said, I want to say that I'm neither a Republican nor a Democrat, and I'm gonna tell you what I feel about Trump or Clinton or Biden, and I'm this way across the board. As far as I'm concerned, well, let me just get back to my point. So what I shared was that, in the cavity of the corpses that was being sent back to the United States, our brothers, our fathers, our family members, our friends, they would put the substance inside the body. And one person didn't believe me and said, "Well, what's your source for this?" This was a while ago. This was maybe a month. This was before Virginia passed away. And I tried to just say something like, it was actually whistleblower testimony from a former CIA official that I was sharing. But that wasn't enough because the person was like, this impossible that they would do that. Well, how is it impossible? So then I said, okay, well, you know what? I have two brothers. I don't know if I told her. And my family is very unusual. My parents were married to other people, and myself and another sibling, we're the youngest, but we have siblings who are like 20 years older than us. So I said to her, I have two brothers who told me. They were eyewitnesses, and they were as shocked as apparently maybe she is, unless she just still doesn't believe it. I don't know. But for people not to believe reality, it's hard because I have to say that again, I did not know the scope of this when I came into this. I know it now. It's really ugly. And Virginia did not know the scope of this, which sadly led to her untimely passing. I'm gonna just hope that this podcast has remained here so that I can upload it. And I will catch you guys the next time. Okay, thank you. Bye.